everybody.
You got to pay back.
Good to see everybody. Yes, Managing Director is my official title, generally known as the fanny pay guy around here. You can call me whatever you wish. My job here today is to introduce 3 great startups, but also make a couple remarks. And first I'd like to say, how delightful is Copenhagen? I mean, this is, 4 times in a row we've been to Vegas. This is a brand new experience, generally for good, although I will say last night, a group of us were in the hotel bar, 1 in the morning, lights come on, we're escorted out of the bar, shocked. I mean, Money 2020 is about late night hooliganism. It's not about going to bed at 1 in the morning. And I was thinking, how could you even get kicked out of a bar in Vegas? What would you have to do? You'd have to have like farm animals. So that's one difference I didn't like so much, but generally it's been fabulous. Perhaps most of all, just how delightful the people are here and how grateful they are to have Money 2020 here. I mean, I've had people come up and thank the organizers for choosing Copenhagen. I mean, when was the last time you were thanked for being in Vegas? I mean, the Money 2020 experience in Vegas, like when you have 12,000 fintech nerds descend on Vegas, the reaction of the locals is a kind of a bemused annoyance. Certainly not gratitude. They're basically like, would you please stop tapping your cell phones against my cash register? So net, I'll take Copenhagen all day long. So I did want to make one point about fintech while I have you as my captive audience. I have a gig here at Money 2020 usually, which is introducing these startups, and I do kind of attempt to frame the startup landscape a little bit. Right now, it reminds me a little bit of the early Star Wars trilogy, the first 3. Actually, almost everything in my life I compare to the first Star Wars trilogy, which my wife finds unbelievably annoying and irrelevant. But in this case, it's actually relevant. And here's where we are. We're at the end of the first movie. You remember A New Hope? This ragtag band of rebels fighting the evil empire, making progress, establishing victories, bases. That was fintech. That was the entrepreneurs looking back 3, 4, 5 years. Unfortunately, or fortunately if you're a banker, we seem to be a little bit in the Empire Strikes Back phase of fintech. Banks are getting pretty frisky. I think we've all noticed it. I mean, there's a couple things going on. One is the banks have moved through the 5 stages of grief, past denial and ignoring things, past bargaining and pleading, and into acceptance. And it's a pretty vigorous acceptance. You've heard here today from HSBC, I think if you ask any financial institution leader, they're paying a lot of attention to this, not just paying attention, they're doing things, they're staffing teams, they're investing in companies, they're building things internally with a new freshness and vigor. So that's one dynamic. The other is that this generation of financial services entrepreneurs are waking up to the fact that if you want to move money, hold money, lend money, invest money on behalf of your customers, you're going to need a bank. And you might need a broker-dealer also. And so the mantra has moved from banks suck to, would you please hold my money? Pretty please. So that forced partnership with the vigorous engagement of banks and the, let's say, acknowledgement of the fintech community that a symbiosis is required has shifted a little bit of the balance of power. It's been interesting to watch. And you and I, all of us, I'm sure, are curious about what comes next. George Lucas would have us believe that the Jedi get their revenge. And I surely hope that's true for my portfolio companies. I don't have a crystal ball on that. What I do have is a mental image, which I'll share with you, that I cherish, which is Jack Dorsey, founder of Square, cradling a mortally wounded Jamie Dimon in his arms. Jamie Dimon removing his mask and saying, "Jack, I am your father." If I could just leave you with that one image, I will have done my work here today. So the main agenda are these three great startups. And the process here was the Money20 team culled a list of about 100 aspiring startups who wanted to be part of this program to 12. Myself and three other venture capitalists spent 3 hours yesterday meeting with these companies, hearing their pitches, further culled that list down to 3. Third place, second place, and our grand prize winner. You're going to see all 3 here today deliver 4-minute presentation. So it'll be pithy, it'll be good. We really enjoyed all 12 companies, and these 3 stood out. So without any further ado, I will introduce you to your first Jedi of the day, Max Lemley from Fraudster. Please join me in welcoming him.
Hey everybody, I'm here to tell you we are at war. So online merchants are losing every year over 14 billion euros to fraudulent transactions, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. The fear of fraud forces e-commerce and payment players to install anti-fraud solutions, which are mostly based on outdated technologies, and that's the reason why the results are downright ridiculous. Not that these solutions can eliminate the risk of fraud, no, they make it even more worse by blocking too many good customers. These false positive declines cost the industry over 243 billion euros in 2015 alone. So this means for every bad euro, you're losing 17 good euros. So just think about it. I hope no one in the room is proud about this number. But the question is why? Because anti-fraud is like a game of chess. So criminals are always to get to play the white. So they are by default one step ahead. So, and the reason why is because current solutions are reactive in nature. Yeah? So they are based on statistical models which use old data to predict current events. And this is not working. So, but now think about a technology that can foresee fraudulent attacks before they actually happen, so that you are playing the white and you have the advantage. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the future of payment security. Over the last 2 years, we've invented an artificial intelligence technology that does exactly this. So how does it work? So first of all, we collect your transaction data, we enrich it with thousands of additional data points and send it to our artificial intelligence engine. Instead of relying on a single based algorithm like all other anti-fraud solutions do, we reinvent the algorithm with each new transaction in real time. So it can translate thousands of data points into clear behavioral patterns, which allows us to foresee fraudulent attacks. So, and what you get is a highly accurate and transparent result, which just blocks the bad transactions and only them. And this means for your revenues, they are increasing significantly. So, and this whole process takes us less than 15 milliseconds. This is over 10 times faster than any other anti-fraud technology on the market. The reason why we are so fast is because we've invented our own in-memory database technology. So currently we are in private beta, but we are working with some design clients. Some of them you might recognize, among them Visa, Mövenpick, or Isico. For them, we are currently managing over 400 million euros, and the results are incredible. By just blocking a fraction of the transactions, we could reduce the fraud rate by roughly half, but also the 3D Secure challenges by nearly 90%, which led to an increase of the transaction volume of 22%, which are 7.5 million euros a month. So don't hear to my words. I think you should benchmark us. Yeah? So please ping me, write me an email, ml@fraudster.com. It's a pretty simple way how you can test us. Just send us an offline data set, one where the fraudulent transactions are flagged, one without. Within a week, we give you the results, and then you can see the power. Thank you very much.
Sure, yeah. And in second place, Shahar Bialik from Curve.
Hi, everybody. My name is Shachar Bialik. I'm the CEO of Curve. Before I begin, I have a few questions to you. How many of you are holding one payment card in their pocket today? Just raise your hand. 2? 3? 5? We have some Americans here. 7? Right. So this is a great example of one of the biggest problems we have today in the financial space, fragmentation. Over the past decade, we've witnessed a unique revolution, quite amazing actually. Some refer to it as the unbundling of the banks. Major services and companies have took the banking services and stripped it off and created better alternatives, more efficient. Companies like TransferWise for FX, Nutmeg for investments, and Number26 for a better banking solution. However, with this unique choice, it has created an even bigger problem for the user. Services which the user has previously accessed through his focal point, which was the bank, now requiring to research and sign up directly, which creates an even bigger problem, managing his money. So how do you solve that? Well, we don't think that the solution is a better bank, as much as it wasn't a better horse. It has to be something different. Comes Curve. Curve is a card that consolidates all your payment cards into one, making your wallet smarter. It's universally accepted wherever MasterCard is accepted. There is no behavioral change. You are still using your own cards everywhere. There is no infrastructural change. We're using the same point of sale and same networks that exist. It doesn't need to load money into a prepaid card or move your salary into a startup you don't know. It doesn't have no new hardware or no battery. It's exactly the same card you have in your pocket. So, what does it allow the user to do today? Well, we start with a payment space, with a spending. This is the more interesting part of things. First, it consolidates all your payment cards into one, allowing you to pay with Amex everywhere. It saves you FX fees when you travel, eliminating your travel fees of FX and currency exchange that your bank charge you. It allows you to manage your money with a swipe of a finger from all your accounts and all your cards. And it's additional security. You never expose your original card details to anyone anymore. They're always safe at home. But this is just the start. Curve is looking to become your gateway to everything money. We're looking to rebundle the entire financial space, providing one focal point of access to lending, credit, mortgages, savings, investments. How does it look like? Well, this is an insurance product. The user goes into the add-on, choose an insurance, purchase it, £3 a day, and a new card emerges into his wallet. So if God forbid he's injured and needs to pay money for the hospital, Aviva already pre-approved money, so he doesn't have to pay with his card and get reimbursement. You can change payment cards retrospectively. You put a transaction on your personal, but it was business. Just open the app and change it retrospectively. Simple as that. It allows you to pay with installments everywhere. Just go to the store, and instead of buying this £500 TV, you can just choose 5 installments, and you pay it for £550, £110 every month. Doesn't matter which store, whether it's online or offline. This is Curve. You can sign up today. Use the code Money2020 to get it for free.
Great job. And now, our grand prize winner, Pedro Fonseca from CrowdProcess.
Hi, I'm Pedro, CEO and Head of Data Science at CrowdProcess, and we are a startup in credit risk. Now, credit is a wonderful, powerful thing. It's at the heart of what the finance industry was designed to do originally. But when it goes wrong, it tends to be catastrophic. Every year, entire banks are completely wiped off the map by bad loans. Others are left struggling to survive. It destroys whole banks, it destroys economies, and at a personal level, it also destroys lives. I would even go as far as saying that bad loans are the #1 problem in finance. Now, naturally, with such a big problem, there are also some brilliant people trying to solve it. And many of these top tiers have pretty much invested huge amounts into solving this kind of problem. They've hired teams of spectacular data scientists who build really advanced algorithms using machine learning and are able to run them on huge supercomputers, pretty much extracting all the information from the historical data and being able to avoid bad loans to the maximum extent possible. These guys are heroes, pretty much. They have been able to go where only tech companies could go before. However, these are not most banks. The vast majority of risk officers do not have a data science team or anyone to help them use or leverage machine learning. In fact, these are mostly extremely hardworking and incredibly intelligent professionals fighting an impossible task with old and obsolete tools. Crucially, risk officers need data science, and they need a data science team to help them. And now they have one. He's called James. James is a software for risk officers to help them use machine learning to build their own in-house credit scoring models at the level of the top tiers. It's being used in multiple countries for risk officers to be able to reduce default rates in substantial amounts that actually changes the whole P&L of the bank itself. Now, how is all of this possible? Well, the existing ideas aren't particularly new. They've been used by the top tiers for quite a while. We call them the 4 superpowers. First, the machine learning algorithms themselves, fully ready to be used for credit risk. Secondly, the validation techniques that make sure that no bank will ever fall into some mistake that they didn't see coming. Thirdly, the supercomputing power itself. The big machines that run all of this are fully embedded into James. And fourthly, and less spectacularly but very important as well, James does not use any black boxes or things that you cannot understand. The algorithms are advanced, but everyone in the organization needs to be able to understand why a decision has been taken and how they can act upon it. These are the tools that every lending organization needs. And this is also James. So who's the team behind this? So we're a team of professionals in machine learning, finance, and technology, backed by some of the best fintech investors out there. We're also proud to be part of SeedCamp. Also, we work pretty much every day with some of the top minds in the field that built the big technologies for the top tiers, and now we're bringing them to everyone. But a startup has limited distribution power. So if we want to really have an impact globally, we need to have a bit more of a distribution network. Fortunately, our partners have one. We partnered strategically with some of the top tiers of the consultancies to be able to distribute James to banks all over the world. And that means that as a startup, we can focus on the tech and have distribution reach globally from day one. We're particularly proud of the fact that every single bank states that this is one of their top priorities, which means that every bank that we've gone to with James and have demoed it to the risk officer has gone on to try it. And once they do that, we get to the number we're more proud of, which is every bank that has used it has been able to improve on their existing systems. Some of them by huge amounts, such as 30%, some by smaller amounts, but always hugely spectacular numbers that improve their baseline. We're talking about one of the most important problems in finance. And we believe that by putting the right technology into the right hands, we can help solve one of the biggest problems, which is bad loans. And James does this by giving the risk officer himself superpowers. Thank you.